All right, guys, Wes here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got some news to talk about regarding Wolverine for PS5. These are some important updates that you guys do not want to miss out on. Now, while Sony is about to go crazy with the marketing campaign for the upcoming Spider-Man 2 that's set to release sometime this fall, well, we have another juggernaut Marvel-based game in development at Insomniac, and there are millions of fans eager to learn more about it. Announced in 2021, Marvel's Wolverine is currently in the works, and while Sony and Insomniac have barely said anything about it, we got some new details that have been leaked by some trusted industry insiders that has me even more hyped for Marvel's Wolverine. In this video, we're going to be going over all of the news regarding Insomniac's Wolverine, including all of the news, leaks, and rumors for the upcoming game. So make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on, and also don't forget to enter the 100,000 subscriber giveaway. If you want to win a PS5, check the pinned comment for all of those details on how to win, and best of luck. Wolverine was announced in 2021 on the same day as Spider-Man 2, and both games got pre-rendered trailers instead of anything involving real gameplay. With Spider-Man 2 set to come out later this year, Marvel fans have been eagerly awaiting news about Insomniac's other project. It's believed that the Marvel's Wolverine game was only greenlit a few months before the trailer was revealed to the public, so it's likely been in development for almost 2 years at this point, and since Spider-Man 2 is probably going gold in the next few months, the team will have a lot more resources to spend on the project. There hasn't been any release window stated by Insomniac or Sony, but a few days ago, a trusted industry insider dropped a ton of new intel on us, and this information is coming from none other than Jeff Grubb, who you probably heard of by now, especially if you follow gaming leaks and rumors. Well, during a live stream on February 2nd, Grubb revealed a ton of information about the game, some of which was later confirmed by other industry insiders, but since Jeff Grubb is so close to the industry and has leaked many things accurately in the past, specifically Metroid Prime Remastered that just got announced yesterday, I feel inclined to take his statements seriously on their own. So take all of this with a grain of salt, just like all gaming leaks, but know that this information is coming from a pretty trustworthy source, and it's got a much higher likelihood for truth than most other gaming leaks these days. According to Jeff Grubb, Insomniac's Wolverine is going for a hard rated R tone, likely coming with a mature rating. He also said that the game will be an origin story of sorts, taking place before Wolverine meets X-Men, while also doing its best to completely differentiate itself from the X-Men movies. They want this new version of Wolverine to be completely unique, probably similar to the way that they were able to make a completely new version of Spider-Man, and I'm totally okay with that. In fact, I think that's the best move that they could have made for this game's concept. Grubb also said that he heard 2 different release windows for the game, those being fall of 2024 and the other being an unspecified date sometime in 2025. The game is being directed by the same creative heads who brought us Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I think is pretty good news since that game was a bit darker and more serious in tone than the 2018 Spider-Man, and obviously most fans are probably expecting the Wolverine game to have a more serious tone than Spidey, especially if it's going to be rated M. In terms of gameplay, Grubb claims that Wolverine will be similar to God of War in the sense that it won't be open world, but rather have a bunch of open sections along a more linear story and frequent combat than an open world game. The last thing Grubb said about the game is that it's in a very early development stage, but Insomniac is dedicated to something truly special with cutting edge gameplay and an emotional narrative. The release date possibilities really stick out to me throughout all of this. With Spider-Man 2 coming out this fall, according to the most recent reports, it would be pretty insane for Insomniac to launch another AAA game just a year later. Insider reports claim that Wolverine is going to be getting a similar budget to Spider-Man, so Insomniac isn't pulling any punches, despite it not being another big open world game. It's also believed that Wolverine will be appealing to a largely different audience than the Spider-Man series due to the M rating. Although at the end of the day, I'm not sure how much that M for mature sticker is going to divert some of the younger gamers from playing it. With the modern gaming world being full of delays and pushbacks, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if the game ends up releasing sometime in 2025, just so Insomniac Games is sure about the product that they're putting out. Plus, Spider-Man 2 will have a little extra time as the main focus, in the case of there being possibly more DLC than the previous game. But the fact that fall 2024 is being considered as a release date seems to go against the notion that the game is still in early development. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see which one ends up coming true, because I personally could see both sides. On one hand, I would believe that the fall 2024 date, since the game was announced almost 2 years at this point, and that would still give it over 3 years of development. But on the other hand, I could totally believe the 2025 release date, especially for the sake of giving the team more time to polish the game, and so that Insomniac and Sony can max out the Spider-Man 2 sales on the PlayStation 5 before inevitably porting it to PC. Perhaps the best piece of news out of this was the fact that Insomniac was reportedly shooting for an M rating. The last time Wolverine was able to truly lash out in a video game was X-Men Origins on the PS3 and Xbox 360, which was pretty awesome, but it had some fatal flaws like super simple level design and a number of performance issues that kept it from being as awesome as it could have been. By allowing Logan to have an M rating, it means we won't get any toned down violence and we'll get to see Wolverine's claws in all of their bloody glory. If Insomniac Games truly is going all in for the M rating, hopefully we get a dismemberment system like the classic God of War or God of War Ragnarok, or maybe something like Ninja Gaiden where the critical hits can slice an enemy's limb or head off. Wolverine is a very violent character when he isn't held back by a movie or a game's rating, and I'm super excited to hear that Insomniac isn't scared to show that off. Now, in terms of the gameplay, Grubb said it would be linear but still open-ended, kind of like God of War Ragnarok, which I think is a great idea. Up to this point, it's been kind of unclear what kind of gameplay we would be getting for Marvel's Wolverine, and while Insomniac is known for their open world games nowadays, I think most of us will agree that Logan just isn't the character that would fit an open world setting very well. Unlike Sunset Overdrive or Spider-Man, the main character of this game won't have any kind of movement-based abilities or superpowers, meaning he wouldn't be able to quickly get around the map unless he was in a vehicle. I guess you could give him a motorcycle, but at the end of the day, that's not what most people want from a game starring Wolverine. So with that being said, a more God of War style approach to the level design seems like a perfect middle ground. This way we'll still be getting into combat more frequently, but also won't have too much downtime going from place to place. A good comic book game will have plenty of combat and plenty of secret hunting, but if we're not getting a true open world game, which is a good move, then I think something more akin to God of War is a great choice. Plus, having a more combat focused game in an M rating Wolverine game sounds perfectly fine to me. Spider-Man was a great game, but it was just as much about the movement and traversal as it was the combat, which is why the open world game design worked so well. Wolverine, on the other hand, needs something a little bit more down to earth and focused on the action, so cutting out the traversal sounds like a good move, especially if we get to keep the treasure hunting and Easter eggs that more open game designs allow. One thing that I think is interesting is the relationship between Wolverine and Spider-Man. At least when it comes to the Insomniac universe, we haven't gotten any official word on whether or not the games exist within the same universe, but I would be pretty surprised if they didn't. The modern superhero world is all about shared universes and expansive storylines, so if Insomniac is working on a Wolverine game, I think it's only natural that it would take place in the same universe as the Spider-Man games. That said, they're likely going to have some weird perimeters drawn, since Insomniac Spider-Man was recently confirmed to exist within the animated Spider-Verse, and since that movie is likely going to tie into the MCU, does that mean that Insomniac's Wolverine will also indirectly be a part of the MCU? I seriously doubt this is going to have a major impact on the storytelling, but it's an interesting little detail that may end up needing some explanation once Insomniac is closer to launching the game, and also once the upcoming Spider-Verse confirms the animated Spider-Verse's relationship to the greater MCU. But as far as the relationship between Insomniac Marvel games, I think there's a 99% chance that Wolverine and Spidey will share a universe. I don't know just how much these stories will interact with each other, but they will almost certainly share the same world, and there will likely be a handful of Easter eggs in the Wolverine game and the upcoming Spider-Man 2 that reference the two characters and make it clear that they could possibly cross paths in the future, perhaps in an Insomniac Avengers game. So when are we going to get to see this game again? When are we going to get the next trailer for Marvel's Wolverine and possibly even some gameplay? Despite Wolverine being announced at the same time as Spider-Man 2, I have my doubts to whether or not we will see another trailer before Spider-Man's next adventure comes out. Insomniac and Sony are about to go crazy with the marketing campaign for Spider-Man 2, and I don't think they want to potentially cannibalize their own sales by showing off more Wolverine stuff too early, especially since Wolverine likely isn't going to be on the same level as success as Spider-Man. Spidey is one of the most famous superheroes of all time, and his game is rated T for teen, allowing kids to basically of all ages to enjoy it. Wolverine, on the other hand, isn't quite as famous, and the M ratings will likely come with some sales restrictions. So the marketing campaign for Logan's game likely won't be as aggressive or extravagant as Spider-Man's. If you ask me, I think we're going to be getting some type of Wolverine gameplay and trailers at the end of 2023, maybe at the Game Awards, or perhaps at a middle or year-end PlayStation showcase. But if I were you, I wouldn't expect to see any Marvel's Wolverine trailers or gameplay until a few months after Spider-Man 2 launches, and since that game is likely going to be coming out this fall sometime in September or October, after that I'm sure it's going to be a fair time to be on the lookout for Logan. Overall, I'm super excited for this game. Wolverine is one of my favorite characters, and Insomniac is the perfect company to bring him into the world of video games in a bigger way. Obviously, Wolverine has appeared in a number of video games throughout the years, but it's been a long time since he was done justice, and honestly, I think the only time that he's ever been truly done right in a video game was that X-Men Origins game that released on the Xbox 360. But Insomniac are obviously extremely passionate about the Marvel Universe, and if all of the recent leaks are to be believed, they're going to be going all out with bringing Logan to the AAA gaming world in a big way, and I'm personally excited for that. So don't expect any official Wolverine news until until after Spider-Man 2 comes out, but once November or December rolls around, I think that's when we will likely hear something new. Maybe we're going to get something during a June PlayStation showcase for around E3's time, but only really time will tell. Let me know if you're excited about all of this news down in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any update videos. Also, don't forget to enter the 100,000 subscriber PS5 giveaway. Thank you all for watching. This has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.